What's good, YouTube? It's Regal Foxkid here, and it's been about a month since my last deck profile video. The reason for that is that I spent the entire time trying to build Shaddoll, and I didn't want to make a deck profile of it with like proxied cards, and I also was still testing the deck and see what I liked with it. So for the past month, I've been working on that, and I just finished the deck today completely. And still playing around with what builds I like. I think I've narrowed it down a little bit. I've played a lot of different builds. I've played the Mini Chaos Dragon build, I've played the Thunder Dragon build, I've played the Artifact build, and I played the Lightsworn build that Patrick Hogan won Toronto with. And overall, I would say that the build I like the most is between the Mini Chaos build or the Artifact build. The build I have right now is the the Artifact build, because in theory I would say it is the better of the two, simply because it has more oust to floodgates and it's generally more control oriented, which is better suited for the TCG meta as opposed to the OCG, which can play very aggressively just because of the way their format is set up. So yeah, and I feel the Mini Chaos build is probably better in the mirror, but seeing as I'm taking this to probably no higher than a regional for a while, I would probably not hit as many mirrors as I would at like an ARG or a YCS. And also, Moral Talk I don't think is as bad in the mirror as people make it out to be, in that, especially because we only have one control, so you have to have an out to Construct somehow, even if it will give them back Shaddoll Fusion, at least it gets rid of Construct. So yeah, and let's get into it. So let's see. So monsters, 20 of them. I did base a lot of this off of the build that Joshua Smith won YCS Madrid with. Obviously I took some of my own liberties, but a lot of his ideas, or a lot of his choices, were what influenced me with this. So yeah. Let's see. So monsters for the Shaddolls, we got 3 beasts. I think he has the most solid effect. It's good at pretty much any point in the game. In the beginning, in the middle, at the end, just a free draw is always really good. And in the mirror match, you want the 3 just because you can open with Winda to like get your grave set up, and then set beast, and then get fusion back in your hand, and it stops your opponent from being able to abuse Shaddoll Fusion. So for that reason, I think beast is really important at 3. And then if you're playing anything that's not the mirror, you can side one of them out. So 3 Hedgehog, only because you want to open him, because he's honestly kind of bad later in the game. Like, if we had El Shaddoll Fusion, I would probably run 2 or maybe even 1 Hedgehog, but I honestly think he's not very good, outside of opening him where you draw him, set him, get Shaddoll Fusion. 2 Dragon. I was running 3 for a while, and just I feel 2 is overall better, clogs less, and stuff like that. 2 Falco, and 2 Squamata. It's pretty standard. Shaddoll lineup is 12 of them. Then for other monsters, I got 3 Moral Talk. Tried Beagle Talking Ignition, decided I don't really need them, and I think most other people will come to that conclusion. The Moral Talk's all you need, since you can use them as fusion material if you draw them. 3 Mathematician, also tried Armageddon Knight, but that was really only in the Soul Charge build. Outside of that, I like the Soul Charge with Thunder Dragon and stuff. Outside of that, I think Mathematician's better. I just think overall Soul Charge doesn't really mesh well with this deck, just like because it gives the deck like huge power plays and great combos, but Shaddoll is designed to be a control deck, and like it's supposed to be able to just keep control of the game as opposed to trying to set up a combo and stuff like that. So 1 Felice to work with Math. I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with Felice. Like, I don't think I would cut her, but she's not really that great when you draw her. Like, cause you can use her as fusion material and then maybe revive her somehow, but overall, like, if you draw her, she's pretty bad, and that gets rid of the utility she has, but she comes in handy a lot. Like, I've made a lot of good moves because of Felice, so I think she's important as the one of, and then BLS, obviously. 20 monsters, 7 spells, 3 Shaddoll Fusion, obvious, and then I main deck 3 MST. And I really only do that in the Artifact build, just because, along with just being an out to like Vanity's Emptiness, it will also pop any Moral Talks you draw if you just don't have Shaddoll Fusion. You can just set this and set Moral Talk, and your opponent tries to make a play, then just pop Moral Talk. So overall, I think MST is a really good card right now. This is probably the only version of the deck that I would main MST in, just because it does work with Moral Talk, and it's a lot less combo-y and aggressive than other builds, because the artifacts are, they add grind to the deck. And were I to switch to the mini Chaos build, I would cut this, the Moral Talks, and the Sanctums for the 5 mini Chaos Giants, so 3 Wyvern Reversal, 2 Collapse Serpent, and then like Wyvern and Dad, and then something else like Allure, Book of Moon, stuff like that. I think Book of Moon's really good in this deck, but I don't have it in here just because lack of space. Just because Book of Moon you can use to pretty much as a lance that also flips the monster back face down. And then last spell's Fool's Burial, because yeah. And then there are 13 traps, and there are 3 Sanctum, so good. 3 Sinister Shadow Games, also very good. Shaddoll Core, just because the loop is nice to have, and then this also gives you extra options. Like you can, like it's not amazing, obviously. Honestly, I think Core is honestly not that great, but you can use it as defense. You can use it to fuse and just get fusion back instantly. You can use it as tribute fodder. It gives you another thing to get back with Winda and Construct. And another funny one is that you can push for game with it if you hit their attack directly with your opponent, and then they drop below 1450. You can just hit them with Core and game. Almost did that once. Sad thing is that I was playing with a friend of mine, and after all that, I hit Core and I dropped him down to 850. So that when I cowboyed, he had 50 life points, and it sucked. But that was in the mini Chaos build, so 2 Breakthrough Skill, stupidly versatile right now. I was jumping between this and Valor, because Valor is really good against the Teller Knight and Burning Abyss if you go second. And I decided eventually that the utility of Breakthrough Skill is just overall better, because this is also useful in the mirror where Valor really isn't. 1 Compulse, and I would run 3 Vanity's Emptiness if I had them, but I only have 2, so I'm running 2. I really don't feel like spending $30 to $40 on a 3rd copy, especially because with Legendary Collection 5Ds coming out, it's probably going to get reprinted. That, or it might get limited, because it's proving to be stupidly good right now. So I'm just sitting on 2 Vanity's Emptiness and Assault in the Morning, so it works pretty good. So I don't really think the 3rd Vanity is entirely necessary. Also, this doesn't die to MST, so. And that's main deck. Extra deck is, I think, 5 fusions, 6 synchros, and 4 Xyz. So fusions, 3 construct. I think 3 constructs is important because I side super poly. So in matchups where I side super poly, I want the extra constructs. Outside of those, I'll probably only summon 2 of them, but it's important to have 3. I only have 1 ulti, and it sucks. And 2 Winda. I've never needed 3 of her. So. And for synchros, I got Leo, stupid good against Burning Abyss from what I've heard. Haven't had that pop up yet. Arcanite Magician, Black Rose Dragon, Michael, Goyo, and Armades. Just 1 for each level. Considered Star Eater, but there's just no room for it, and you're only going to make it off of Falco Core, which is usually not an optimal play. Like, it's only optimal if you're facing down another construct. And then my Xyz are Volcasaurus, and Castell, Exciton, and Shark. So artifact build really doesn't exceed that much, so you only just have the staples. So, yeah. The side deck's not that important, it's really meta dependent. I'll just show mine. It's more or less focused around the big 3, because those are the only decks I'm truly frightened of. Those and, like, maybe Mermail and Sylvan, just like road matchups like that, but I'm not too terribly concerned about those. I'm mainly concerned about the big 3. So 2 Raikou, just generic out to Floodgates and stuff, and it's a light, so you can also use it with Construct if you need to. And it's also a nice bluff, because Hoban mentioned this in his video, is that you can set this if you're facing down a Shadow Mirror, and your opponent will think, oh, it's just Dragon or some shit all, and they're trying to stall, and they attack its Raikou, so. And 2D Fusion. I was actually playing this before the artifact, because it works with the artifacts because you can defuse your own fusion, summon Moral Talk, and then pop a card. But I was using Defusion before that just because it's pretty much in the mirror 2 more copies of Compulse. And that you can just bounce their fusion, and it's just like
compulses at 3 still. And that's just godlike in the mirror. So I think Defusion's great in the mirror. I was considering swapping this for Deep Dark Trap Hole because that will help against Sylvan or Mermail, but like I said, I'm not really too concerned about those decks. 1 Mind Control for the mirror. And I don't have different dimension grounds, so I just cite 3 super polymerizations. Because this is stupid devastating in the mirror. And the reason I don't main this is, like, the number 1 reason is because it has a discard cost. And a lot of the time in this deck, you don't want to discard if you don't have to. And it's really not that stellar in matchups from what I've gathered, aside from the mirror match where you can just take 2 cards from your opponent's side of the field, and that's just stupidly deadly. So like against the Teller Knight, they're probably going to plus anyway, or they're going to still be in the advantage. Burning Abyss will float off of it. And then so it's like I save this for the mirror match and for like if I hit a Rogue Bujin deck or like Noble Knights or whatever. And like this is non-targeting, non-destroying removal, and they generally run 1 monster anyway, or keep 1 monster on the board. So this will clear their field and give me a construct. And then in the mirror match, I can clear their field completely and just give me a construct. So I think Super Volley is better than the side, at least for this version of the deck. 2 Twister. This card is beautiful. Just with so many floodgates, this is just 2 more MSTs, which is just important in the mirror. And then 3 Chain Disappearance. If you get this against Burning Abyss, turn 1 or turn 2, like just before they actually get a setup that's game. So, and then 2 Malcat, just extra back row hate. I don't really like floodgates in this deck because I guess I don't really have a strong reasoning for that, because my reasoning for when I was running the mini Chaos build is because that version runs less back row than this one, because this is 13 trap cards, and that's a lot, and the artifacts contribute to that. But if I were running the mini Chaos engine, that's a lot, just a lot of times where I'll have a floodgate and nothing else, so it'll just get hit by a random MST. And just because bad players will blind MST, and just that actually kind of hurts. So that's the reason I don't really like floodgates in this, but considering the fact that I'm running the artifact version, I might consider changing that, and I'd probably put in like Flying Sea and Rivalry. I don't really like Lane Prison Mirror, there's too many ways around it. But yeah. Also, it shuts down like the artifacts in Ryko, so yeah. If I were to put in the floodgates, I'd probably cut the chain disses, because if you don't get this early against Burning Abyss, it's pretty bad. If maybe the Rykos for like Rivalries and Flying Seas, so something like that. And yeah, that's the entire deck. Works pretty well for me. I think Shaddoll is the best deck, just because it got the consistency, got the advantage and stuff like that. And I love the deck a lot. It's just it makes you think. Like, that's the way I feel about Shaddoll. It's a deck that makes you think, and I really haven't had this much fun with the deck since when I first built Mermail, so really love the deck. And so yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for watching YouTube. I'll see you next time. Deuces.